Hello, and today I want to talk about why I don't like the first three Tomb Raider games. First off, Lara as a character, it seems to be that they've gone for I say the complete opposite of Indiana Jones. This isn't really the complete opposite of Indiana Jones at all. There's a few things that really kind of hit the bricks when you come to saying, well, she's the opposite. For a start, she's carrying on her dad's work or a work of a parent. Indiana Jones did that. Um, she's an archaeologist, or as close to an archaeologist as you can get, really, I suppose. I would say more pilferer of artifacts. Um, I suppose we can say as Indiana Jones was doing. And the Indiana Jones movies had kind of a mystical, sort of otherworldly spin to some of them. And Tomb Raider focuses quite a bit on that as well. So they're not really completely opposites at all. In character, I would say just about. Really, it's just a bit one dimensional in that respect. It's kind of okay, so let's have Indiana Jones's rich English cousin who looks like she's raided Kylie Minogue and Madonna's wardrobe. Um, and it's just really, really awful. I don't like her as a character at all. I just think it's just um, very wooden. Okay, it was on the original PlayStation. They couldn't really do an awful lot with it. The hands, of course, are all molded together, and the mouth doesn't move. That's kind of shows why it's a bit of a relic of the past. Um, but really, my main gripes with them were the stories. The stories were just flat, boring, and they just didn't seem to really go anywhere at all. It was just, here is something, mystical artifact, MacGuffin, that is super powerful, and in the wrong hands, it could end the world. That is basically it. And that seems to be it throughout the first three games. Um, and I really think that they were just kind of lacking. It was just kind of, okay, here's the first game, it's done really well. Let's throw out theme, let's throw out, I say three, let's throw out, yeah, let's throw out 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, um, and just kind of churn out the same thing over and over. The original kind of controls as well, I really didn't like them. I've heard talk of them being like tank controls, which is really awkward because she's not a tank. She's a person. It just doesn't make any real sense to me why they've gone for that kind of motion. I know Resident Evil have done it as well. But if you think about it, Super Mario doesn't really kind of move like his movement in Mario 64 is a bit more fluid, and it seems to work a bit better. Um, it's just Tomb Raider. It's really stilted. I don't understand why it's the way it is, and I don't understand why she makes such massive steps. If you just tap forward, she steps like a giraffe. It's just awkward. It's weird, and I just think it's clumsy. Also, she runs as well. You've got to hold the button to walk. Most games, you don't do that at all. You don't hold the button to walk. You walk, and then you either hold the button to run or you push further in the direction and you run. It's just, it's just so clumsy, so awkward, so annoying. And the fact that you can't run to the edge of a ledge either. You've got to walk, because if you run to the edge of the ledge, you fall off the ledge and you land. And it's just on wherever it is, you might fall off the level. If you've forgotten to do this, you may fall to your doom, and it's so annoying. Why can you walk to the edge of a ledge, but you can't run? Also, you can walk through broken glass and spikes, but you can't run through them. Where's the logic in that? I don't get it. It's just so broken. And the fact is, if you watch or read a guide for this game and for the subsequent games, they're telling you what buttons you've got to press, what actions you've got to do with the controls in order to progress. Most FAQs and most guides say jump from this platform to that platform to this platform to this platform to this platform, so on and so forth. We don't say walk to the edge, step backwards, and then do a running jump. We just say do a running jump. It's just so broken. It's unreal. It's clumsy. It's horrible. It just feels so awkward to play. I just don't get it. I don't get why you've got to actually do this with the controls. There's an old saying, in fact, there's two. There's easy to learn, difficult to master. Okay? And there's pick up and play. Right? Tomb Raider is not a pick up and play game. Tomb Raider is a pick up and tear your frigging hair out game because the controls are so broken. Easy to learn. This isn't easy to learn. This is difficult to learn, difficult to master because it's so awkward. Right? If you want to do a 360, if you want to spin on the spot, right? Most folk would turn round. Right? She tumbles. This is an action adventure game, not a swim meet. You don't need to do a tumble turn. What's going on? Resident Evil, in its awkwardness, that got spinning 180 better than Tomb Raider, and a more believable spin. Because you pivot on the spot. You don't roll over. What is this? This isn't gymnastics class. This isn't a swim meet. You're in a frigging forest or a desert or a jail cell or whatever in Tomb Raider 3. And it just doesn't make any sense. The logic is flawed. The infinite ammo weapons, I will concede, are useful. But I just think they are just so awkward. You don't need to pick up anything else. You can just use the pistols. The pistols don't do anything to your ammo reserves. They're infinite ammo. And this is when you start the game. You don't have to do a cheat. You don't have to complete the game. It's just there. And the fact you can jump and shoot, fair enough. You don't get to do that in many of the games, if any at all. That's quite cool. But really, it's awkward, it's clumsy. I've said that already, but really I stand by it. It's just not fun. The awkwardness with the enemy encounters as well. Whenever an animal comes towards you, it's just really, really, really difficult to actually position yourself and to take them on. It's still a bit like that when you play the newer ones as well. It's still quite awkward. There are still a few moments in those ones where the combat's not great. But really, with the original, it stands out. It's not the most fluid. The animations aren't the best. Which I suppose you can give it that because it's on the PlayStation 1. The graphics do smooth out a bit when you come to the third one. But really, to me, they're just shoddy. The first one they could have taken time over, but then once it got popular, it was just machine gun out these games. It's just not good at all. I don't do scores out of 10. I don't see the point. I just really don't like any of these games in the originals. I've played some of the later ones on PS2. Again, not a fan. The controls are a bit more smoothed out. It's a bit more fluid in control. The graphics are better, but the graphics were never really the problem. The story is a bit more existent. There is something of a story-ish, but really, it's just not my kind of game. I only really played through all three of the first ones with a friend who knew how to play them and where to go, what to do. And after a while, we get annoyed and hand the controller back. It just wasn't for me. I prefer the reboots on the PS4. There's a few issues I've got with them, but I'll maybe cover them in another video. This is just about the originals. Stilted character, lacking story, controls that were just broken. She's not a tank, she's a person. Really, they all sum up to a game people raved about at the time, but it's a relic. It doesn't really stand up anymore. It's aged really badly. In fact, I think I didn't like them that much when they first came out. So that's my view. Thank you for watching. If you share some of my views, let me know in the comments. If not, let me know where I've gone wrong. And let's face it, I may have gone wrong. I may have kicked over a hornet's nest with this one, but that's just how I think and how I feel about these games. Thank you for watching.